Good morning. Good morning. We'll start with the Rambam Sefer Kinyan Elchot Habanim. It's the end of Sefer Kinyan. We started yesterday.
Did you tell what was the saying that Rabbi Nassim Brula says? Rabbi Park says?
Met Lamitai. Jeffrey, you told me. Send me yes. Look a second at the Rambam. Sefer Kinyan Elchot Habanim. Perek Gimel. Start with Perek Gimel Halacha Yud Bet. Gimel Halacha Yud Bet. Sefer Kinyan Elchot Habanim. Perek Gimel Halacha Yud Bet. Yesterday we mentioned Ma bein mocher atzmo lemecharu beitit. Every person has the right to sell himself if he doesn't have money. And he has a din of Evri. But here's a but. Ma bein mocher atzmo lemecharu beitit. Mocher atzmo eino nirtza. Person sold himself and he decides to extend his slavery. He cannot. Umecharu beitin. Nirtza, as we are going to discuss it today. Mocher atzmo asur b'shivcha kna'anit. This leniency or humiliation to the mecharu beidin, that his master is permitted to assign him a non-Jewish substitute, is only if beidin sold him. Mocher atzmo, Rambam says, asur b'shivcha kna'anit. Mecharu beidin, if he was sold by the court, Rabo moser lo shivcha kna'anit. Mocher atzmo, since he is the owner of himself, so to say, imkar le'akum, can sell himself to a goy also. Mecharu beidin, אינו נמכר אלא לישראל, שנאמר כי ימכר לך אחיך. אין בית דין מוכרים אותו אלא לאחיך. This is a ספר דברים. כי ימכר לך אחיך העברי או העברייה.
So the beit din had to sell.
נכון. ימכר is being sold by others. אז לך, כי ימכר לך אחיך העברי.
ימכר, that's the key.
Concept of that a woman being an Evri Israeli.
A woman cannot sell herself.
Never she herself. The Beit Din cannot sell. So there's no situation where she's going to be a slave.
I mean, unless her father sold her.
But that's not an
like the intent is eventually she should become part of the family
to get married.
Eventually. That's it. Yeah. See, the real question is what happened if like in a minute, the next one is mocher atzmo nimkar l'shesh ve'yeter al shesh. Since I'm writing the contract, so I can sell myself to 8 years, 9 years. Ve'yeter mishesh. Mecharu beidin eino nimkar ela l'shesh. This is basically a summary of Gemara. Everything you need to keep for that. Mocher atzmo ein ma'anikim lo. When you're going home, it says in Sefer Devarim in Perashat Mishpatim that the master has anek ta'anik lo. The halacha says clearly how much from which type of produce is the master obligated to give him. This is only by mocher mecharu beidin. Mocher atzmo ein ma'anikim lo. I mean, you became a slave on your own, yes? Mecharu beidin ma'anikim lo.
became a slave, I must have been in very, very bad
No,
shape.
he's
I
right,
need a
he's
little
right.
something.
You're right, you're right, you're right. You're
Why
right,
more
you're right.
mercy on a Ganav?
No, good. So you see, this is a key question. He's asking, how can we have more mercy? How can we have more mercy on the Ganav than a person that sold himself?
Even a Democrat?
You're giving them
The
food cards.
Shalom Etzion, no, but the real answer is, the original idea of jail, 300 years ago in France, was to rehabilitate, put the guy in jail, make him a better person. Okay, through the years we know that jails are the opposite. Judaism is trying to show you, if you stole, we are finding you a foster home. People that are adopting you are treating you so nice, as we read yesterday. It's basically the main idea is not only to pay back what you stole, it's to show you what you did is wrong. Look, people are willing to give you another chance. People are willing. So Hanaka is part of it. Hanaka is part of it. What you are saying is a man that sells himself is very poor. Correct. So society is obligated to help him anyway. Remember, if he decides to sell himself, he's not willing to simply go back.
But the Torah is against it.
Well, what?
The Torah doesn't. The Ganav one who is sold makes sense. The Torah is against the human being being sold. The
point he made is correct. He says, to a thief, you have to give anaka, and to the one who sold himself, yes. So look at that. If you want to, if you want to see really, it's not a shoot. You know how much you have to give him. Look a second in Halacha Yud Dalet. Look at the same parak, Halacha Yud Dalet.
Yeah, it's Hanek Tanik Becca and all those things.
A woman that completed her 6 years, neither the master nor her son married her. She's out after 6 years. And if you send them empty-handed, עובר בלא תעשה. שנאמר, לא תשלחנו ריקם, והרי הכתוב לתקול לעשה, שנאמר, והענק תעניק לו, מצוות עשה, לא תשלחנו ריקם. Who is entitled to get the הענקה? אחד היוצא בסוף 6, או שיוצא ביובל, or b'mitat ha'adon, if the master died, right? If he's a male, he would continue or complete his slavery to the son. Otherwise, he has to go free. וכן האמה העברייה שיצאת באחד מכל אלו, ובסימנים הרי אלו מעניקים להם. A male slave, female, אבל היוצא בגרעון כסף, what happened if an uncle decided to buy back the slave, to give him his freedom? Go to Messiah, I'm just going over it. אין מעניקים להם שנאמר, וכי תשלחנו חופשי מעמך. וכי תשלחנו חופשי מעמך. וזה לא שלחו חופשי, אלא העבד נתן שאר הדמים. הענק תעניק לו, this is a quote from the pasuk, מצונך מגורנך ומעקבך. צאן, גורן is wheat, barley, and etc. עקבך, grapes, basically the 3 types of produce or fine. So it says the Rambam, דברים שיש בהם ברכה מחמת עצמם, הוא שחייב להעניק לו מהם. You're obligated to give him, let's say you're giving him lambs, he can start his own flock. You give him a goren, he can replant it. You give him יקב, דברים שיש בהם ברכה מחמת עצמם, הוא שחייב להעניק לו מהם, אבל הכספים והבגדים, אינו חייב ליתן לו מהם. ואז, if you work X amount of years, today it's accepted, you're getting approximately a year's salary or month salary, whatever, yes? By Eved, you're not giving him money, you're not giving him clothing, you're giving him items that might help him start fresh. אינו חייב ליתן לו, וכמה נותן לו מהם, how much you give it? אין פחות משווה 30 סלעים, the subtotal has to be 30 סלעים, whatever the value was there, בין ממין אחד בין ממינים הרבה. אוקיי. בין שנתברך הבית בגללו, בין שלא נתברך הבית בגללו, it makes a difference if you see that your house or your income נתברך הבית בגללו, yes?
Ben, you mean Eved?
Eved.
Ben, Eved.
לא משנה, if you see that him being in the house made the house a better house, or we making more money.
Yosef, like Yosef.
This is exactly what. ניחשתי, remember Lavan says to Yaakov, ניחשתי.
ויברכני השם בגללך.
Also the other guy, Avimelech.
Yeah, כולם, exactly. So it's
Rabbi
exactly
Trump?
your obligation as a master, yes.
In-
לא משנה, your obligation, yes, go ahead, yes.
But just to digress for a second, when you come to the Beit HaMikdash, you can't come empty-handed, right?
Yes.
What is that? What is that? Ish Kimadnat Yado. What is this? What is that? What is it?
בבית המקדש, if you look in the Rambam בהלכות חגיגה, yes, the Rambam
Okay.
חגיגה in the beginning, the Rambam says over there the minimum that, remember the Torah says to every Jew, poor or rich, so it says, Ish kematnat yado, you can bring a lamb, a goat, or you can bring a bull, yes, this is kematnat yado, because it's an obligation of everyone, you cannot tell everyone bring a bull. Okay, look a second now. Go back a second to Halacha Yud Aleph. This is the Halacha that most people are unaware. You'll never see it in the text. You'll never hear it in the text. Here means sometimes you can read the spirit of it. If you really read the text to Halacha Yud Gimel.
Rambam didn't talk the pasuk that we learned connect only for Betty, not for yourself.
Before, no, הוא אמר את זה מקודם.
I don't see a rationale.
Look a second Halacha Yud Bet. מה בין, we read the pasuk, you're right, no, לא read the pasuk, right. No, אם אתה רוצה לראה בגמרא, he's right, the Rambam didn't bring the pasuk, of course.
Everything else is
Good. Look in Halacha Yud Aleph. This is, unless you learn the Gemara or the Rambam here, listen carefully. הייתה לעבד שפחה כנענית, listen carefully, ולא ממנה בנים, but לרבו, he happens to be a slave of a single guy, ולרבו אין אישה ובנים. It is, the man who was sold by the court, the thief, he assigned him a non-Jewish servitude, he has children with her, but his master is not married. אינו נרצה, you cannot claim אהבתי את אשתי, את ביתי, why? שנאמר כי אהבך ואת ביתך. The pasuk says openly that the Eved has to claim, I like you, my master,
your household.
the house, תשמע לה. The opposite, לרבו אישה ובנים ולא אין אישה ובנים. If the slave is single, and the master, right, אינו נרצה, he cannot extend the slavery, שנאמר, אהבתי את אדוני, את אשתי ואת בניי. Now listen to something.
Wait, I thought he can't assign shifcha to a single slave.
This is what the Rambam is saying.
Huh?
This is what the Rambam is saying. היה לרבו אישה ובנים ולא אין אישה ובנים. You cannot assign it. This is what the Rambam is saying now is new. הוא אוהב את רבו, he loves his master, ורבו אינו אוהבו. If you ask his master, he says, I really don't like him, אינו נרצה. שנאמר, כי טוב לו ימח. כי טוב לו ימח. You also appreciate him being. רבו אוהבו והוא אינו אוהב את רבו. So this is new completely. His master likes him. He really doesn't like his master, but being there, being provided by him, אינו נרצה, שנאמר, כי אהבך. הוא חולה ורבו אינו חולה. He is not a healthy man. His master is healthy. אינו נרצה, שנאמר, כי טוב לו ימח. Rabo chole, his master is not doing well, והוא אינו חולה, או שהיו שניהם חולים, אינו נרצה, שנאמר, כי טוב לו עמך, this is new, זאת אומרת, this decision of the Eved to extend his slavery has to be mutual by both. You love your master, he loves you. You are married, he is married. He's in a good physical shape, you are. Otherwise, you cannot extend your slavery.
Why do you gotta tell me the master's in good shape, Rabbi? Who cares?
The Rambam cares in the Gemara.
Well, what's the impact of it? What is the impact of master being in good shape? The slave, I understand, he's in good shape, he can work well, he can do it. But what does it matter if the master?
Because the inner, every worker that you had in the last 4 years, deep inside, you have to feel comfortable with him. Otherwise, subconsciously, you're not treating him good, or there's anybody, look at him, he's a healthy guy, we are the same age. He jogs every morning, I cannot jog 2 blocks. In order to create harmony in the family setting, they both have to be the same.
This is fine until you run into Yovel.
What?
Until you can extend until you run into Yovel, I guess.
Yes,
You said that.
Yovel comes.
Everything's
It's over.
Wait a minute. When you say that he's not near Tzah, that means he has to go out after 6?
Right, he's going out. Right. But you
So
see,
why does the Torah, why does the Rambam use the look Eino near Tzah? Why doesn't he say Yotzei?
no, but this is
I mean-
the Nirtzah always is exactly at the end of the 6 years.
Okay, so
Let me show you.
because if you read it, you could say Eino near Tzah, so he doesn't get his ear pierced, but he still could.
Look in Alachayut. Look carefully in Alachayut. Here, this is it. Ve'im amor. Tomorrow morning when you listen to Kriyat Torah, ve'im amor, yomar ha'eved is a double language. Amor, yomar. למה לא כתוב אם יאמר העבד? ואם אמור יאמר העבד עד שיאמר וישנה. The slave has to say twice. I like you, I like your family. I like you, I like your family. I like my
job.
My wife, yes. עד שיאמר העבד, listen carefully to the Rambam, עד שיאמר כשהוא עבד. He has to say it before the 6 years are over. אבל אם אמר אחר 6, the 6 years are over, legally is free, and he comes, hey, I would like to extend it, it's over. You have to say it while you're still a slave. עד שיאמר וישנה בסוף 6. But the end here, this is it. At the end of the 6th year, as you are, let's say the last day of your slavery, then you have to say it. Okay, then he goes into detail. Now,
Does Shemitah play a role here?
no. See, it's an interesting question here. He says, Bashvi'it yetzel ha'chofshi. Bashvi'it means the 7th year of your slavery. Unlike, look at Nachon, Yovel, yes, that's Shemitah. And remember, the Rambam yesterday told us that the halachot of Eved apply only if you have Shemitah and Yovel in the land of Israel. Otherwise, yes.
I guess if he didn't extend his slavery, he can't become a slave again because he's leaving with gifts, so he can't claim he's broke.
Okay, no, but it's an opportunity.
Give away everything.
I'll go rob again.
Now listen, go back because now we have to go to the Ramban in a second, but let's pay attention to the Rambam. Rambam says in the same parak, look at the beginning of parak Shlishi. Go to the beginning, let's go 1 page back. Kol Eved Evri, remember the Eved Chayav Adon,
67 now.
67. No, page 67 Halacha.
67.
Just go back 1 page, 1 or 2 pages. כל עבד עברי, הרי האדון חייב במזונות אשתו, please listen, הנשואה לו, only if she is married to him, ולא, פרק ג' הלכה א', ולא ארוסה, if he is engaged to be married, ושומרת יבם, או if she is waiting for him to marry her because her husband died and the Eved happens to be his brother.
Right.
והוא שתהיה מותרת לו. Only if the woman that he is married to is halachically kosher to him.
So it's halal.
אבל אם הייתה מאיסורי להביא, but if she is asur to him, אפילו שנייה, לא, איסורי להביא זה כהן to a divorcee, it's חייבי להביא.
Yeah. So you
Mamzer.
think but it's a good marriage.
It's
I mean, the marriage counts.
legally they are married.
Legally they're married.
Legally they are married, it's not חייבי karet. This
No,
is
not
exactly what it means, Hillel.
Yeah.
Because the Rambam is posek only בחייבי כריתות, legally they're not married. אפילו שנייה, even if the Isur is a secondary Isur, you learned in Ibamot plenty of
The
that.
marriage occurred, but it should not have occurred.
Right, which
Like
means
marrying, like,
only if the
going,
marriage
You said that.
Divorcee.
אינו חייב,
Yes, yes.
אינו חייב במזונותיה, why? Because the pasuk says, ויצאה אשתו עמו, אישה הראויה לעמוד בו. Pay attention now. וכן, so remember, the master, the woman stays in her house. Once a week, she got a check of food from the master of her husband. וכן חייב במזונות בניו ובנותיו. Until which age?
Oh.
Did you ever think about it? Until which age are we obligated
To support
to support our kids?
63.
Until the Yovel.
How about forever?
Okay. Remember, what we support
13
forever
years.
until 60,
Took
like
it 12,
Sammy,
13.
because we gave them the crutches called support all the time. So regular American family, you finish college, goodbye. You come to your wedding, it was beautiful. But the ideal American family was, my education is to make you drive on your own car, yes? Well,
I watched an interview yesterday, a very famous billionaire guy. He said, my mother told me when I graduate college, you're done, you're out of here. You're on your own. He said, I had to find a way to make it. Now I cut off my kids after they finish college. He said, I'm thinking, I cut off my kids.
You know how rich we'd be if we played that rule?
You'd be poor another way.
so listen, the
But we don't
Ramban,
expect tuition and,
no, but you realize that what the Rambam is saying here is,
In the house.
We got the house, with tuition. That's an everyday, tuition's everyday.
וכן חייב במזונות בניו ובנותיו, we see the Ramban. Seven, remember, the reason you're saying a house is because we raised our kids that we have to eat every Shabbat together. Send your son to Texas.
I think it's the Doraita. My father says it's the Doraita.
My wife's niece went to Texas. She says the house was there,
How much?
100 of here. They have a full big community. Another one went, I forgot. So
We have deals.
Syrians were chicken to move away from each other.
Yeah.
No, Doraita.
No, it's not.
We like to
so
also.
let's continue. וכן חייב במזונות בניו ובנותיו ומכרו בית דין. Listen good, the Rambam wants to bring the pasuk. How do you know that the father is obligated? ומכרו בית דין נאמר עם בעל ישי. In the minute we look in the Rambam doesn't mention until which age.
Yeah.
What is this? In Bali?
No,
How long is
בחרו
that?
בית דין, the Torah says, עם בעל אישה ויצא אשתו עמו. If you realize the Rambam in a
His
very
Jewish wife. His
right.
Jewish wife.
No, but the Rambam in an unusual way, almost on every halacha, brings you the pasuk. Here, mamash, look what he says.
וכי תעלה
וכי תעלה על דעתך שכיוון שנקנה זה נשתעבדה אשתו? Would anyone think that because I bought a husband as a slave for 6 years, his wife is part of the deal? אבל לא בא ללמד אלא שהאדון חייב במזונותיה. The pasuk is hinting to us it's your obligation to support.
It's a package.
Now,
but what if he's allowed to get married within the slavery?
right.
The master has in mind a certain amount.
In a minute.
If she has baby, he gets married while she's a slave.
So let's
He's a
see.
slave.
What happens if he has two wives?
During slavery.
Take this.
No, during slavery. During
What
slavery.
happens if he has two wives?
In a minute you'll see the Ramban. I showed you yesterday. No, your question is a good question. But it's funny, okay? The reason why.
What's the case? He's already married?
No.
Oh, he's
No,
not
it
married.
comes in single.
Comes in
It
single.
comes in
It's,
single.
Question is, he got married while he was a slave. A year after he was a slave. So we're going to see it in the Ramban.
Married to a Jewish lady.
No, Jewish.
You can't give him.
Perashat Mishpatim.
No, but if you wait, if you think that, how does that work with him? Begapo yavo, begapo yitzeh. If he came in,
If Gapo Yavo, if he came in single,
right?
Gapo Yetze, which means you are not allowed to have a substitute if you came in single and you remain single. The question is, what happened if he came in single and he wants to get married to a Jewish woman a year later? We're going to see the Ramban. The second question the Ramban is going to discuss
He has
is,
time for dating. He's busy working.
the real answer is we have no idea what poverty is, we have no idea what it means to support the family. We make believe that everything is fine in the real world until reality hits very strong. We had a kid once, and Shema said it's a Pelagado. We had a kid once that in the beginning of the winter he used to fall asleep in class. A freshman, it never happens. A freshman fall asleep.
In the beginning of
The beginning of the year. So the teacher used to tell him, says, I'm not sleeping well. Well, you have to sleep well. It's cold in the house.
No
Tell
heat.
your mom to raise the heat.
No heat. No money for heat.
wear an extra blanket.
And anyway, we found out his mother was divorced. Yeah, she has 2 children. She barely pays anyway. Okay, so at that time, she for Hanan arranged for it. In the senior year, he had the guts to say, guys, your kitchen or your bedroom was bigger than my mother's apartment. So it took me months and months to realize there is another world out there, yes.
Sure.
But you realize at the end, he came better than the other kids, of course. Because he really learned to appreciate everything. Like senior year, he spoke publicly. He said, guys, one room that you have in your house, not a dining room. This is life.
There are instances where parents put their kids in orphanages. They couldn't take care of them.
Look now in the Ramban, in the beginning of Mishpatim. The beginning, and the psukim that we're learning, Georgia, here.
No glass.
Look a second in the Ramban, Eli, it's page. The Ramban is in page. Kuf Zayin. Psuk Gimel. ויצא אשתו עמו. page קוף זין. ספר שמות. You have it? Okay. Feel like can you look with Rani please? No, it's a long Ramban. You have to. The Ramban normally does not so long. ויצא אשתו עמו. כתב רש"י, וכי הכניסה שתצא. מה זה ויצא אשתו עמו? What is she going? She was never in.
Was she in? Yeah, how was she in to go out?
This is a question. אלא מגיד שהקונה עבד עברי חייב במזונות אשתו ובניו. This is the source. Fine. ומדרש חכמים. Every time it tells you מחילתא זה מדרש הלכה. not מדרש אגדה, מדרש הלכה. ויכניסו עמה הבנים, וכתוב שאמר אחר כך ויצא ועמך ויקרא, הוא בניו עמו. He is departing after 6 years and his children. Says the Ramban, listen to this is Ramban. Before we read it, when a man is married and your wife has a job, Sammy, legally you're entitled to take all the income that she has, right? Says the Ramban, ולא נתברר לי בדין הזה, אם מעשה ידי האישה והבנים לאדון, כל הימים אשר יש, interesting question, it is. I'm supporting you the same way that you are supposed to give your husband your income, yes? Perhaps the master takes now, והנראה בעיניי, it's a very interesting one, which means that I couldn't find any Talmudic source. והנראה בעיניי, שהוא נכנס במקום הבעל. Yes. תשמע, but listen to his logic. כי חמלה התורה על האישה והבנים שחייהם תלויים להם מנגד. The wife and the children feel terrible. The husband basically is a slave, yes? ועתה שנמכר, when he's being sold, יאבדו בצרתם, they're going to be lost. ולכן ציווה את האדון אשר הוא לוקח מעשה ידיו, the master who took over the husband who was the one that brought in the income, להיות להם במקומו, you, the master, are replacing the husband as far as the wife. ואם כן, לא יהיה על האדון רק חיוב הבעל בלבד. ייקח מעשה ידיהם כאשר יעשה הבעל, ויזון ויפרנס. This now. The Ramban, what he says is logically, but he needs it. Remember the pasuk. וזהו, לשון, ויצאה אשתו עמו. עמו, כי הייתה אשת העבד עם בעלה כשפחה לאדוניו. Ramban is saying, for the duration of the 6 years, she's like exactly, she's like a servitor to him.
Wait, to him, I mean the
The
master?
owner, to the master,
yeah.
Like.
But what happens if during that time he wants to get divorced? Or she wants to get divorced?
Or she inherits money.
Remember, we have
What
to
happens if she
discuss
inherits
also.
money? What happens with, does she get the money?
What happens if her income, she is the breadwinner. Her income is much bigger than the husband used to be. She can tell the master of her husband, don't support me, and I'm keeping it. The same, Sammy.
Any marriage.
The same as every marriage. Every marriage, a woman can tell her husband, let me have my own account.
You're out.
I'm putting all my income, you don't take a penny.
But who's chayav in the ketuvah?
Well, what?
Who is chayav in the
Being a good man, but legally, no.
So when they sit down to have dinner together, she has to pay her own food in this
I mean,
case?
1 week I pay, 1 week you pay, but I mean,
It's the master's food.
yeah, definitely.
but who's chayav in the ketuvah if they get separated?
וכן, skip a line, וכן הבנים, please listen.
Oh.
אינו חייב להם במזונותם, the master is not obligated to support the children of the slave, אלא בקוטנן, בזמן שהאב מצווה או נוהג לזון אותם. Please listen carefully.
You didn't answer the question. How old?
תשמע. So there's a מחלוקת in גמרא in כתובות. You must support your kids till 7.
7?
5, 6,
7.
7.
70?
From 7. From 7 and on. From 7 and on, the Gemara says it's a good idea, but we cannot force it. In the time of the Gemara, the kid can start to have a small job and legally. Listen a second. Listen, finish the Ramban. וכל זה חמלה, mercy מאת השם עליהם. Listen now to a new insight of the Ramban. עליהם ועל העבד שלא ימות בצערו. You hear this? זה דבר חדש לגמרי. The slave feels terrible. I saw. I'm not bringing my wife, the children. Says the Ramban, this is also what Hashem calculated. The average should feel comfortable. I'm supporting your children also.
So it's on the master out of compassion, so to speak.
The Torah has compassion on the slave.
Because truth is, he comes into
only on the wife.
and the
Right,
kids.
right. This is
Imagine
the
he
point.
comes into slave, he has 3 kids, so now they're not going to eat. Yeah, but it's almost logical.
I'm saying not only on the wife
And the slave
Slave self, his peace of mind, his sense of self.
This is the point. I'm a failure. I'm a slave. And my wife says the Torah, you comfortable, your wife is being taken care of. Listen,
And if they have additional
let's
children, they have additional children that servitude, same thing.
let's finish the Ramban. Now, ובנה ואשתו יהיו נעזבים, ואף על פי, תשמע סמל, שלא היה הוא מחויב במזונותם בדין התורה, כמו שנתבהר בתלמוד בכתובות, אבל כיוון שדרך כל הארץ, says in every society, לפרנס אדם אשתו ובניו הקטנים. In every society, this is what a husband,
Basic.
a father does. ציווה הקל ברחמיו.
לא סיבה, you just told me.
לא,
לא,
לא. Saying is, me and you, as regular parents, in התורה אתה לא חייב וכולם עושים here.
Oh, on my children.
The children.
Me,
Yes. Then he says here, the Torah by the Evri is doing more than the regular husband. תסתכל. אבל כיוון שדרך כל הארץ לפרנס אדם אשתו ובניו הקטנים, ציווה הקל ברחמיו להיות הקונה כאב רחמם להם. The master is commanded to do more than a regular father theoretically is obligated to his children. You are becoming the foster father of the family.
Why is he doing more?
Because מן התורה, the Rambam said before, לא מחויב עם זה.
Why isn't it a command as opposed to
No,
seeming
a father
like
has no command to feed his children.
Correct.
The owner, the slave has a command.
Obligated.
Even though the Torah-
This is what he's
So you're saying
saying.
there's no commandment for the father to
No, we
support
do
his
it
children?
because it's our
Look
children.
at כתובות, דף מ"ט עמוד א'. If you
I
want
didn't
to
get up
start,
to it yet.
to
Okay.
start tomorrow, but you didn't hear what the Ramban added.
Okay.
דרך כל
I
הארץ.
got it, I know
Which
it.
means that every court would force every father to do
Okay.
it. Now he continues, וכוונת כאב רחמן להם. Now, listen carefully now. וראיתי במחילתא, again, מחילתא is מדרש הלכה, יכול שיהיה חייב במזונות ארוסה, she's engaged, ושומרת יבם, she's waiting, תלמוד לומר אשתו, להוציא שומרת יבם שאינה אשתו עמו, להוציא ארוסה שאינה עמו. If you are engaged to be married, you are legally married, but you are not living together.
You don't have to support until after a year
Correct.
or something.
וגם זה,
Sure.
right. וגם זה, says the רמב"ן, ראיה לדין שאמרתי, כי אין מנהג הארוסה ושומרת יבם לסמוך על האיש. The woman who is engaged is not relying on you
she would never expect it.
currently to be
It's not
supported.
possible.
Right. ולכן לא הטילה התורה מזונותם על האדון. This is why זה ראיה יפה, the Ramban is bringing ראיה to himself. Whenever the wife is expect from her husband,
Receive, yeah.
the husband,
drove the Torah's decision.
ככה הוא אומר, לא, אבל
What's the way of
בדין
the word?
רחמים.
Makes sense.
Now turn the page a second, let's continue, turn the page, ושוב מצאתי, listen to this, ושוב מצאתי במחילתא אחריתא דרבי שמעון, there are two מחילתא, אם בעל אישה הוא, listen to this, מה הוא חייב במזונותיו, the same way the master is obligated to support the slave, אף לאשתו ובניו חייב, listen now, עדיין, remember Ila, we had a question, what happened if he came in a single guy,
Yeah.
and he gets married, here זה מפורש עם מחילתא, עדיין אני אומר, אישה ובנים שהיו לו עד שלא לקחו רבו חייב, those children and the wife he had before he became a slave, the master is obligated. עד שלא לקחו רבו חייב, שמתחילה לא לקחו. When I bought you, I knew that you have a wife and 3 kids. אבל אישה ובנים שהיו לו מי שלקחו רבו, openly, a wife that he married
And the
after,
children he had afterwards.
perhaps,
He had a fourth child,
perhaps
for
you are not,
example.
perhaps you are not חייב, תלמוד לומר אם בעל אישה הוא, שתי נשים כאן, the Torah repeated the word אישה to tell you, even if he got married later.
Oh.
אחת, עד שלא לקחו רבו, the one that he had before he became a slave, ואחת, מי שלקחו רבו. Listen. Okay, now we know that.
But we didn't learn that before. We said.
נכון, אז אני אומר לך, משנה לפלא, משנה למלך אין לי זמן, מסתפק, אומר, לא יודע, הנה מפורש, לפני זה מחילתא, ומחילתא בפירוש says, he has the right to get married.
Even if he gets married.
Even if it's married, and he has a child, a new child. It continues, יכול, okay, this we know, יכול אפילו, היו לו ארוסה ושומרת יבם, לא חייב, אוקיי. אישה שהוא עמו חייב, now, he continues, and he says, אישה שהוא עמו חייב, יצא זו שאינה עמו. יכול אפילו שאינה ראויה להתקיים עמו כגון אלמנה לכהן גדול, גרושה וחלוצה, if he is married to her illegal but they are married, תלמוד לומר ויצא אשתו עמו, listen carefully now, מי שראויה להתקיים עמו, יצאה זו. Now this piece is פלא, תשמע. When he decided, he came in as a single guy, he starts to date a woman. Does he need the approval of his master to marry this woman? The son was dating. He came to you, Daddy, what do you think? He said, Ishma, I would never, before I read the Ramban, look, יכול, אפילו נעשה אישה שלא מדעת רבו. I would think that if he marries a woman without consulting his master, is also chayav. Talmud lomar hu, mahu mid'at rabo. The same way I purchased you because I researched about you and I like you. אף אשתו mid'at rabo. פלא, כן? שבזה חידוש גדול. I mean, if you ask me, which means he's not obligated.
He's not obligated.
He's not. If you ask me, the main reason is if his master doesn't like his wife, it's going to affect
The work.
of course, the working habit, everything. תשמע, תשמע עכשיו. יכול יהא מעשה בניו ובנותיו של רבו. Perhaps the master can take over the produce of the children and the, yes?
You said yes.
It's the same רמב"ן, חכה רגע. ודין הוא אצל קל וחומר. ומה עבד כנעני שאין רבו חייב במזונותיו? מעשה בניו ובנותיו של רבו, עבד עברי שהוא רבו חייב במזונותיו, אינו דין. He says yes. But, this is what he says. ועדיין אני אומר, look at the bottom, שאם רצו אשתו ובניו ליזון משל אדון, if they are being supported by the master, אדון הוא לוקח מעשה ידיהם כמו שכתבתי, ולא באו למעט בברייתא זו, אלא שאינם שלו. The Ramban sticks to his point, that the master has to support them as long as they are being supported by him. But if they decide to go on their own, which means we would take care of ourselves, he is not chayav. But if they say we are not giving you there, because if you realize the piece before he says, "Ein maaseh banav ubnotav shel rabo." Says the Ramban, this is only if they are not being supported by. If they are, okay, we'll stop.
This is like the wife.
Like. It's exactly. It's being treated
So Rabbi,
exactly.
we're saying that the man that marries a woman after, if he doesn't get permission from his master, the master still
Correct.
not obligated to support him.
Leave the Ramban.
So with the
leave
same
Ramban
token,
there.
if he has a fourth child, when did he get his permission? His fourth child's another obligation on the master.
I know, but the Ramban didn't say.
Not-
It's
not
only
applicable.
about the wife, not for the children.
Not for the children.
You're right. Logically, we could have said it,
I
but the
guess
Ramban doesn't
that's why
say.
the slave, there are contingencies that he can't control. He just has to
Yeah,
go.
But
Those
this
are the
is exactly.
eventualities
Yes,
that might
exactly.
happen. You take.
Yes, this is exactly what it means. Yes.